evening, everybody. Hope you're all well. And welcome to our very first show around the table. And joining me this week on the table, I'll rephrase it. No.
At the table.
I'm a married woman.
Oh, my face has gone bright red. I can feel it.
Around the table.
Around.
Oh, come on. You're supposed to be a professional.
It's gone, ladies and gents, it's gone.
And joining us around the table is myself, Polly Harnett. And really, really pleased to be here today. Really excited. We're all giggling already. We're all giggling before the show. So we're really looking forward to tonight. And has Mr. P composed himself now? And we're also joined with the lovely Rachel. Rachel, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, I think I will. I am Rachel Galbreath. Although Richard often tries to call me Galbreath, I don't know why, but
I've corrected it. Get off the soapbox. I've corrected it. Even though you tell me it before. Mate.
I don't know, okay? But I'm very, very happy to be here amongst everybody around the table.
I'm never going to live this down now, am I?
What a way to start. Kirsty, you're up, lady.
Hi, I'm Kirsty. On behalf of Mr. Grogan, sends his apologies. If you can whack him in some healing because he's overdone it again, bless his little heart. I have to say, I'd like to know, Rachel, what does Gayle's breath smell like? I'm really sorry.
I don't know. But, over here in the States, they pronounce my name Galbreath, which is even worse. Yeah. Why would you pronounce it Galbreath? Just how it looks. Galbreath? Galbreath. Which is really, truly, it's Galbreath. It goes back to the stubbornness of the Galbreath family. There was a war between two brothers, etc., and they broke off between the Galbraiths and the Galbraiths. So it's the same family, but it's never Galbraith. Come on, it's never Galbraith.
Well, it's nice here under the table, isn't it, ladies and gents? Eh?
It is. We're all over that table. We are everywhere.
Yeah, well, we've got some people to say hello to. So we got hello. I'll put on screen for everyone so we can all say hi. Hi to Phil.
Hi, Phil.
Hi, Phil.
Veronica joining us as well. So hi, Veronica. Thank you.
Hi, Veronica.
Veronica.
We have our wonderful Mary Dixie. Should I do my posh voice and do my
yes, go on then.
And we have Julie Caswell live on the studio tonight. Thanks very much for joining us at the table. Oh, that sounds awful. That sounds some creepy pervert.
You sounded like somebody I wouldn't want to phone me up.
Oh no, that's just M&S voice.
Yeah,
not just any voice.
It's not just Eddie Mary. It's M&S.
We've got good evening to Natalie.
Hi, Natalie.
Joanne as well, who's here. To Lauren and that lovely.
Hi, Lauren.
Alison and the baseball bat, which is really
hi, Alison.
Hi, Alison.
We've got June, who's here as well, along with Sally.
Hi, lovely. Sally and June.
Hi, lovely Sally. Hi, June.
Rachel's turned up as well.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel and Kelly.
Yeah, and
hi,
Kelly. As well.
Oh, Rachel. I know Rachel. We see each other down the park every morning. Hi, Rachel.
I thought you were going to say down the pub.
No, that's the next stage when we're out of lockdown.
Hello to Howell as well.
Hi, Hal.
Hi, Howell.
G-Man. G-Man. He's saying hello.
G-Man.
G-Man.
Hi.
Superhero.
Dean Davies is here. But apparently Veronica is saying, I said on the table, she's saying it's better under the table.
Is it?
Oh, is it though? Many a times I've had too many under the table.
It depends. It depends if it's like an occasional table or, you know, coffee table, or it could be a large, you know, family table. It depends what table.
Moving on to Nicole. Good evening, Nicole. I hope you're well. We've got Siobhan who's here as well.
Hi, Siobhan.
To Ray, and we have Mr. and Mrs. B.
Hi, Ray.
Joe.
Hi, that's not
Mr. and
Mrs.
Mrs.
B.
B.
It's Joe.
We have Stace who's with us as well.
Hi, Stace.
Hello, Stacey.
Sam O'Neill. Hi, Sam. Hope you're doing well.
Oh,
Hello,
love Sam.
We all love Sam. We've got Lynn who's on as well.
Hi, Lynn.
Lynn.
Daniela's popping in. Hesval is here.
Oh, that's
Hesval.
a cool name.
Yeah, Hesval, nice to see you.
Louisa, 1980.
Hi, Louisa.
So I was
It's a
born
fight,
just
yeah.
few weeks before that, but anyway.
Oh, you look like... What dream was that then?
Boy.
I missed that bit. I was concentrating.
Yeah, there's nothing to
I
miss.
was being professional.
Yeah, Lisa Paris is here as well.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi there,
Joanne's
lady.
here.
Hello, Joanne.
Nice, Joanne. Hi, Joanne.
I think we've all caught up with the hellos now. So
Oh,
the topic for tonight is nothing. There is no topic. It's like when you plan to meet your friends. The idea of the show is we're in lockdown, semi-lockdown, because I went out today and it was just everybody everywhere. I thought it was meant to be a lockdown. But so I thought I miss coming out and socialising with my friends and family and sitting around the table and having a good old chinwag, what you do at a kitchen table. If there is a lounge, there's a kitchen table. And where do you find most people? Around the kitchen table, having a good natter. So I thought, let's do a show about chatting away, having a good conversation, talking about everything and anything, stories, having a good old chinwag. If anybody wants anything to say, the comments will be placed on automatic, so hopefully we will see your comments, because it will be automatic for us to read them. But so how are you young ladies been doing? What have you been up to during this wonderful day?
today, what have I been doing?
That's what I just asked you.
I've been working. And I have been doing.
Is this going to be a long story?
I've been doing readings, and I did an animal communication, which was lovely. I love animal communication.
What is animal communication?
Animal communication is like
Don't go woof.
when obviously you can talk to your animal, like obviously out loud, you know, like we do, like we tell our dog where we're going and the cat what we're doing, you know, I do anyway, you know, I know not everyone's quite as mad, but most animal lovers will just talk to their animals anyway. And but an animal communicator will be tuning into an animal to find out, basically it could be anything. People could have problems with their animals that they want to resolve. They've gone to like trainers and things like that. It hasn't worked. So they want to know why their animal is behaving in such a way, or why they're suddenly feeling very depressed or anxious. Or I do a lot of work with animals, rescue animals, because people don't know their stories. So it's quite interesting for them to know a bit of background, because they don't know the background. I mean, they might have found a dog tied up on a fence or something. And I also do healing with that as well. So obviously at the moment, everything is online. Everything's online, so I work sometimes like face to face, like a normal reading with a person and their animal, or sometimes they give me pictures of the animal and I will type up what their animal is telling me. So just from a photograph with the animal's eyes, I can then tune into the animal and find out what's going on. And it was actually the dog today was telling us all sorts. It's telling us what was going on at home. It was telling us all sorts of things. This dog was a very old dog as well, and so she was very worried about the dog. And so yeah, it's lovely. It's one of my favourite things to do, because I mean I love animals so much, and it's like being a voice for them.
Do they tell you secrets then? What's been going on?
Yeah. Yes, they do tell me secrets.
Can you actually ask them questions?
Yes, I ask them questions.
Can you ask them then next time, why do they lick their private parts so much?
Because they can.
Yes. Sounds jealous, Richard. You sound jealous.
I never understood why. No, come on. You get a dog, for example, who licks their parts and then comes over to you and starts licking your face. And people go, oh, he's kissing me, thinking, but his tongue's just there. You know, why?
Well, people, that's up to the individual whether they would let their dog lick their face. I especially one of my dogs, and Rachel, who's on here today, will know exactly why Tino isn't allowed to lick my face, because he eats undesirable things, and he gets to the undesirable things before I can get to him. So there's no way on this planet that he'd be licking my face. Oh, thank you, Hal. He's a star as well. Oh, I think it was you gave him a card the other day, Rachel. Not a card. Was it a card or a message?
I gave him a son.
Yeah.
Son.
And I'm very pleased. It is because they can. I mean, you think about an animal, you know, it's like animals are extremely bisexual, you know, and they don't care as long as they're having a nice time, you know, and it's not an issue for an animal. And, you know, there's lots of things that animals do that if it was people doing them, then, I don't know, people might talk. Does that make sense? You know, when an animal does it, it's perfectly acceptable. So I just think we should take a little bit out of an animal's book, really.
Just imagine a man in a park doing that cleaning. What are you doing? Well, if a dog can do it, I can do it.
Well, I just said once, I said down the park once, I said, I'm so glad that we don't communicate by sniffing each other's butts.
Well,
you know,
we
like,
do smell, don't we? Have to like the hormones
City
that
for
we
23 years, okay? I've seen a lot. That's all I'm going
yeah. There's just things that we just don't want to repeat. Oh, thank you, Phil. I absolutely love working with animals. It is a real massive passion. I teach it as well. If anybody obviously, I'd prefer to teach face to face with things like that, because I like people to get interactive with animals. I like to see the way they're working with the animal, approaching animals. So I do teach. So when we're allowed out to play again, I will be teaching one-to-one, not one-to-one, in like a small group setting again. So if anyone is interested in learning, then please let me know. I could make it interactive as well, but I mean, sort of online. But it's something that's really interesting to do. G-Man, I would do anything to talk to my dogs. Yeah, it's very funny. But yeah, Rachel knows why. Like I said, I wouldn't let Tino lick my face. But it's one of those things that, G-Man, you're jealous you can't, Richard. Maybe not. I don't know. It's funny how he brought it up.
Just what Kirsty just said then is, no, you just said, sorry, Polly, you're not allowed out to play. And always, my mind just jumps everywhere. It reminds me of the Monty Python and the Holy Grail. He's been a very, very naughty boy. He's not allowed out to play.
Oh,
okay,
on,
Christy.
Richard. You could do a better voice than that. Come on.
Well, what does Bill Shaw say? Wouldn't you do the same, Richard, if you could reach? Who says that I can't? But moving on very swiftly.
Yes, I would.
Obviously, there's
thank you.
extreme yoga poses going on there.
I apologise. I did say it's a conversation about everything and anything. As long as it's not about COVID, it's got to be fun. And it's not be negative. And what do you go and do? Innuendos, as per usual. What can you say? So how about Rachel and... sorry, Kirsty. No, it's just the dungarees, and all I keep thinking of, come on, Eileen. Minions, they wear dungarees.
I love those dungies. I love those dungies. We were saying before we came on, though, weren't we? I said if I'd have put mine on, because I love my dungarees, but I usually put them on with like a, in the summer with like a vest top, because I just love that look. I just think it's really cool, right? Even if I'm in my own illusion of that. My kids are like, oh my God, Mum, what are you wearing now? You know, that sort of effect that I usually get. But yeah, I know we were saying if I'd have put mine on, we'd have looked like Billy and Johnny, but Stace doesn't remember, doesn't know Billy and Johnny, do you?
Explain it.
Not Stace, Rachel.
Yeah, explain it. Explain it to Rachel, Kirsty. Go on.
Well, there used to be a programme called Hale and Pace many years ago. Very, very funny couple of blokes they were. And they used to pretend to be kids' programme presenters. And one used to come and go, "Hello, Billy. My name's Billy. Hello, my name's Johnny." And that's kind of how it went.
It was ridiculous, but it was very funny.
It was very funny. But I have to say, mine have got too many flowers on. I blinged mine up with the flowers. I got flowers all over them.
You pimped your dungies.
I pimped them up. I did, yes. No, yeah. Come on, Eileen. Come on, let's sing it. Come on. Richard's dying to sing that song. Go on,
no,
Richard.
it's not. I don't know the lyrics to all the. I only know the chorus or the first line.
Stop. You make out you have to Google it next. Rachel, do you know that song?
Which song is that?
Come On, Eileen by Midnight Runners.
Lord. Yes, I do. We were just talking about this. Okay,
think of it,
so I have a story about a very famous actor. There was this nightclub in Manhattan called the Limelight, which used to be a church. Yes, I know. And they turned it into a nightclub. And this was during the club kid days of New York City. You might have heard of like people like Michael Alec and all these club kids who were very, very famous for different reasons. So many things happened there, but they had multiple levels to this nightclub. And down in the cave, which was the basement, they would play 80s music. And it was closing. I'm trying to find my friends and gather them all up, right? I was in my 20s, obviously. So this was, New York City, me, 20s, nightclub, nightlife. And standing in the middle of the dance floor by himself was this very famous actor with a beer in each hand, absolutely 100% wasted, could barely walk, and was screaming the lyrics along to Come On, Eileen. There was nobody else out there in this room except him, and in the papers and in the press, he was supposed to be in rehab at that moment, going through alcohol recovery.
Oops.
Well, okay. Right. So I constantly have this image of him dancing in my head, screaming, "Come on, Eileen," every time I hear that song, and I'm like, oh dear. Every time I see him on TV, every time I see him in the movie, every time I see him.
Well intrigued now, aren't you? I really want to know who it is.
Oh, ladies, I have tales, I have stories. I worked at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and I had run-ins with Richard Gere, Katie Holmes, all these different actors, actresses, and it's like, I have so many stories.
I was in love massively with Richard Gere. Oh my God!
Oh, son and gentleman. I bet that you wish that was you when he carried off Deborah. Was it Winger?
Wagner.
Wagner. I don't know the surname. I was not being rude. Trust you to turn it. I was not. I wasn't sure on her surname.
At the page. I swear. Oh my Lord.
See, everybody, this is what I've got to contend with before the Matt and Kirsty show starts. You don't see or hear any of this.
Kirsty, have you ever met any famous people?
Well, there was. I used to, when I was a whole lot younger than what I am now. I used to.
Told us who it was.
Oh yeah. Are you allowed to? You're going to tell us, Rachel?
Okay. Sure, why not? It was Christian Slater.
Oh.
See what I'm going to.
Other stories, but
I remember him.
Many.
Deborah Wanger. See, Wagner.
It's not Wanger.
It's Winger.
Deborah Wanger.
It's not
anyway,
Wanger.
Kirsty, it's Deborah Wanger.
It's a wanger. Sounds like wiener.
Now that's what they call hot dogs in America, isn't it? Wieners. Have you got your wiener?
Oh, Sir Richard, come on. That was just mean.
People maybe up in their years may call them wieners, okay? No, call them absolutely hot dogs.
Hot dog.
Hot dog.
Richard's obviously in the older generation. Oh, they said I met Martin Kemp and worked for John Lowe. I didn't read the rest of it.
And Davina, there's something about Davina in there.
Yeah.
The comments are on automatic, so they whenever somebody says something, it comes in, so I have to stop it. There we go.
My dad has got a massive hate for Davina McCall.
Do you remember a programme years ago called Art Attack?
Yes.
Do you remember there was a bloke called Neil Buchanan?
Yes.
Okay, well, I used to work in the garage and many, many years ago, and it was one of them ones that used to have a shop in, and they used to have videos in there, and they used to have colourful videos, and they were always on the top shelf. And anyway, he was on the car park. I had to go out. This is how old it was. I had to go out and serve the petrol. And so what he'd done is he dumped his car on the forecourt, and he was looking at the videos.
Oh.
So I had to go back in and I had to say, excuse me, Mr. Neil off the telly, can you go and shift your car? Stop looking at the naughty videos and go and shift your car, please. Oh, you should have seen him. He went bright red, bless him.
Did it? Did you say that's the wrong sort of art?
You know, I wish I had. I wish I had. Because it was like...
Into Richard Gere, okay? This segues into my Richard Gere story.
Come on then.
I'm standing there minding my own business, innocent person as I was.
Really, Richard Gere. Yeah. And you're standing there innocent. Gere,
this man comes up to me and approaches me with a baseball cap, gets right in my face. Right.
Did you snog him?
I'm like, what? And he was like, excuse me, can you tell me where the latest photo exhibit is? And I'm like, and it was like, click, click. It was like this little domino effect I had to take place in order for me to be like, oh, wait, you're Richard Gere. And then it clicked again, and I was like, oh, you want that photo show. I was like, oh. It was in the smallest gallery up in 19th century European wing of the Met, and it was completely blocked off. Everybody was counting how many people were in there because it was such close quarters, and it's completely packed full of people. And I said to him, I said, well, I think I know what you're talking about. And he went, his face was getting red. And I said, okay. I said, well, just so you know, it's completely full of people, and it's going to be elbow to elbow. And I'm not sure if this is the right time. And he said, I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to try it. And he said, it's right over here. And I said, yeah. So, but he had me walk him through, and everybody was just too busy looking at Richard Gere, looking at all of these very, I'll be polite and say provocative photos of different situations of people, nudes, right? And they were just standing there watching him, and I had to radio in to dispatch and say, you know, we need a little assist here, you know, so they had to clear the room out. But he just came to the Met just to view that specific exhibition. And it was so controversial, as I said, that they had to keep track of how many people were in the room at all times. It was highly, highly surveilled because there were a lot of threats because of the content matter, and he wanted to see it. And I was just like, this Okay, I had to basically hold Richard Gere's hand through this naughty photo exhibit. So
it's a hard life, isn't it?
it was
Having
hard.
to hold Richard Gere's hand.
Yeah.
And then
How did you cope?
Bono made the museum close down just so he could have a private tour of the museum. He wanted it closed down just so he could go in on his own.
Wow. Oh. Do you know the people I've met that are famous are so random, right? They're so random. Do you know grot bags? I don't know if you would, Rachel, but do you remember grot bags? Oh, yeah.
Yes, I do that too well.
I met her at the Royal Show when I used to be like more of a foreigner. Yeah, I went to the Royal Show and met her, and she was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. And a few of these people, many of these people, you won't have a clue who they are, Rachel.
Okay.
Do you remember on Blue Peter? And there used to be this guy that came on, and he was disabled, called Joey Deacon. And he was like, he wrote a book, but the guy, I can't remember what his name was. Ernie. Somebody might have to help me out on the messenger there. I think it was Ernie helped him write the book, and he was also disabled, but they wrote the book together. And not many people could understand Joey, but Ernie seemed to understand him, and they wrote a book together about Joey's life. I met him at Butlins, right? I met Chico. Do you remember Chico that was on
Chico time?
Yeah. I met him. I met Harvey Smith, the international show jumper, and my mum asked him if he rode horses, and I was mortified. I was like, he was my absolute hero. Oh, Terry will love grot bags. Yeah.
Yeah, but what Terry was saying earlier on is that Howard Donald pinched her backside.
Woo!
I don't know if that's harassment, and she should sue him.
I don't know who he is.
Yeah, I just wow.
Oh, Daniela met Mark Owen from Take That when she used to work in Manchester. Rod Hull on Parkinson, awesome.
Do you know what he was? He was when he attacked Parky. Oh my goodness, that was brilliant.
Oh, but at 18 at the time, Stacey was DJing at a gig, almost passed out. I don't know who she's talking about there, Terry, but
the one that pinched her bum.
Yeah, Donald, yeah.
I get. Chico was so cheesy. Oh, but do you know what? He was fun, wasn't he? Chico. He's a bit cheesy.
Time, wasn't
it?
Yeah. Chico time.
Yeah, he was cheesy.
Oh, and I did meet. Oh, she used to be. Oh, now I've forgotten what her name is.
Oh, she can't be that famous then.
No, she was relatively, because she was in a pop group, and then she did a lot of drugs. She did a lot of drugs, and
did she write a book? Was it Square for TV?
Daniela Westbrook.
No, but what was she in?
Her nose.
Atomic Kitten. She was in Atomic Kitten.
Oh, I know who you. Yeah,
Kerry
Elizabeth,
Katona.
That's it. And guess where I met her? At Alton Towers. And we were in a queue, and she got fed up of waiting and said, "I'm not waiting here anymore," and turned round, and so took all of her children off.
I saw Danny Dyer on the plane one time. Oh, that was nice.
Oh, Danny Dyer.
Nice. Oh, he's all right in the end.
Yeah, he's all right. Kerry Katona, Natalie, you're right.
Yeah, I actually know that name. I know that name.
Yeah, she's been on quite a lot of things, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's pretty. She's into all this reality TV, isn't she?
Yeah, and
is there anything else on television? Just reality TV, and I think that's about it, isn't it?
And she was in Atomic Kitten, and she was also on Loose Women. I don't know what that sort of category comes under, but you know.
Natalie Bennett, I'm not sharing.
Sorry. Joanne saw Jonathan Ross in Disneyland Paris.
Oh, well.
I'm with Alison here.
All the more for me then.
No, I wish the man would speak better English, shall I say.
Well, he's a Cockney.
But when you're that beautiful, do you really need to speak?
Beautiful.
No. He'd take you up the apples and pears. Or you'd take him.
Duran. Oh, I love Duran.
Oh, I couldn't stand their hair. There was too much hair and cheese for me.
A lot of hair.
There is though.
It was a new romantic age, wasn't it?
Yes,
or was
but
that,
they had even bigger hair than normal.
Yeah, they did have. Oh, and Lamal. I used to have a little bit of a thing for Lamal, and then I saw him live, and he was the tiniest little man I've ever seen. He was like a Oompa Loompa.
You talk about concerts and cinema concert. I was invited to. We was in Switzerland with my partner, and we were invited to go to a concert of Katy Perry and meet her. And this is honest truth. I was so bored with the concert. I thought it was awful. I said, I can't be bothered meet and greet. Can we leave? That was how bad it was. And we weren't the only couple that left. Lots of people left this private VIP do. It was awful. Absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Just talking about walking out on people, which was quite nice. I felt good. We went for a nice meal, and there you go. A lot more fun.
I had a friend with Keanu Reeves more than one time, actually. Keanu Reeves, which is
Keanu Reeves. I think he's brilliant. Have you seen his film? In fact, I've just been watching The Matrix earlier on.
He's
what's
too
that?
much beautiful for one man.
John Wick. Have you seen John Wick?
Yes, John Wick is good.
Yes, John Wick. My lovely other half loves John Wick.
I think that is one excellent. When you go through the story and they tell you how he killed a man with a pencil, you're thinking, what? And then you see it in part 2, you're thinking, that's how you do it. You know? But it was what I liked about the film was the respect. He did all the stunts himself, and the respect he had from his fellow assassins. That was like, you don't cross this man. Whatever you do, don't cross him. You know, he will win.
Yeah.
And when they're having that big fight, and it's like, I really respect you, and when I die, I'm glad it's going to be you who's going to do it. You're thinking, but you're still fighting. It's like weird.
He's like the Terminator.
Yeah. But he's going to be one of the best loved actors in Hollywood. He does so much for his fans as well.
Yeah, but he would never let me read his palms.
You read his palms?
What was that noise?
Allow me. He would not allow me.
Oh.
So I actually, okay, it goes way back. I was doing set design on the side for Joyce Theater in Manhattan, and for a couple artists named John Monty, and for a ballet company. And I was going to intern with this place in, I think it's Toronto. It's called the Stratford Festival. And all these arrangements were being made, and I was asked, well, which one did I want to work on? And I said, well, my favorite Shakespearean play is Hamlet, so I'd like to work on the Hamlet set, right? And they said, well, we sent most of our stuff to Winnipeg. And I was like, okay. And they said, well, we can get you tickets. You know, if you want to do it, we'll just send you tickets. And I'm like, okay, all right. And this is back in like 94 or 95, maybe 94. And I was still in art school. It was the dead of winter. And I go to Winnipeg by myself. And I was the only one on the plane to get to transfer from one plane to the next. I had to go to Toronto, and then to go from Toronto to Winnipeg. Nobody was going to Winnipeg, right? And that's where I found out that Keanu Reeves was actually playing Hamlet, okay? And they had given me front row center 2 tickets, and nobody wanted to go with me, so it was just me. And not only did he spit in my face, screaming, I am nothing, I was just like, he almost hit me with the fake sword and all this stuff, right? And then, like, the next night, I went to this, I just walked about in minus 15 degree weather, Fahrenheit, okay? And I went into this place called the Spectrum, and I was just minding my own business. They had a band playing. It was kind of like a nightclub, and it was the 20s again. What can I say? I was in my 20s. And all these people started coming up to me, and I was sitting by myself. There was nobody around me, but this person had come in. I saw out of like my side view, had come in and was standing maybe 2 feet behind me. And in my head, I'm like, don't turn around. I'm alone in a different country by myself. Don't turn around. So then all these people started coming up to me and introducing themselves to me. And I'm like, okay. And then they started reaching behind me to shake the person's hand that was standing behind me. And it was him. It was Keanu Reeves. Mm. And I'm like, he stood behind me. And I mean, like right behind me, never said a word for maybe a half hour. And I never turned around until I was like, okay, what the is going on here, right? And I heard his voice and he was like, I'm not here. I'm not here. That's what he said to people that were coming up. But I met his sister. I met his cousin. All these people were like just talking to me, right? And that kind of started up this weird talky every once in a while connection, right? And I was never allowed to read his palms. And I've actually viewed his palms since. And that's all I'm going to say.
Wow.
Wasn't he in Bill and Ted?
Yes, he was.
Oh, I love that program.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I never watched that.
Oh, they've just done another one, haven't they? Number 3.
I don't know how I've missed that one. I just don't know.
Oh, you need to watch Bill and Ted's most excellent adventures.
It's like everyone used to go around saying it, didn't they? Pardon?
All-time favourite film.
What? Mine? I don't know. I've got so many. Is it?
Oh, sorry, gotta love a Shrek.
I think the funny film that I really, really love is Dumb and Dumber. I know it's ridiculous, but it makes me laugh every single time. Every single time he gets his tongue stuck on that ski lift. It's still funny. It's still funny every single time. I can't think of. There's so many I like. There's so many.
Choose one. Only one.
Oh, but I like all of them.
My favorite.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. You were breaking up then. My favourite
is Some Like
Rachel.
It Hot. Some Like It Hot.
Some Like It Hot.
With Marilyn Monroe, Jack Lemmon, Tony Curtis. It was originally filmed in color, and then the director thought that the drag makeup that was put on Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis looked so horrific in color that they then reshot it in black and white.
How interesting. Anchorman.
Terry
just said Anchorman. Yeah. That is very funny. It is ridiculous again, but it is very funny.
What about you, Richard?
My ultimate favourite, and it is an old 80s film. I was just born then. And I remember
Pinocchio.
And I still laugh at it this day. I would put it on if I've got nothing to do. I watch it. It makes me laugh every time. It stars Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder, and it's the film called Stir Crazy.
Oh boy!
Oh, that is good. That is funny.
The bit where they wake up in the morning and they have to go they need to go to the toilet, and then they're standing there, and he's trying to. But before that, he's trying to put his jeans on, and they help each other putting the jeans on, and they realise that one of them's got one of their legs in it, and the other one's got the other leg in it. So they start screaming that they can't feel the legs. And then it's the bit with the toilet. He's peeing on me.
Oh, that is quite a good film. I remember watching that. I remember my dad putting that on, and we just thought it's the funniest thing. But there was a film as well that honestly made me laugh so much, but I cannot remember what it was called. But it had again, somebody's going to have to help me because my memory is shocking.
Labyrinth.
Yeah. David Bowie.
Oh, what's it
I never
called?
watched Labyrinth.
The Money Pit. The Money Pit.
Oh,
Has anyone ever
yes,
watched The Money
brilliant.
Pit?
Well, the original, the
Tom
remake.
Hanks. No, Tom
Oh, I
Hanks.
don't know, the
Money
Tom
Pit.
Hanks one.
Yeah.
Cary Grant was in the original. I think it was Cary Grant was in the
I don't know
original.
about that one. The
Goodness.
bit where he
Gosh.
falls down in the ceiling.
Yeah,
No,
oh,
the
the bat
chicken
falls through
bit.
the
The chicken
ceiling.
explodes.
Yeah. It's so stupid, but it is so funny. In fact, I nearly had an asthma attack. I laughed so much at the bath bit. That's how much I was laughing. I was awful.
Now that is one good fun. He's got his feet dangling, isn't he, from the ceiling, where he's stuck in the what was it, the carpet, and he just started talking, and you see him slowly sliding down.
Yes. It is really funny. I've got a good question, right? So I've obviously been reading a few of the things, but they're going quite quick and they're sort of chatty. It's really nice that you're all chatting in the chat as well. If you could sit on a bench for an hour with somebody that had passed away, okay, and I'm not talking, well, it might be family, it could be family. Yes, we can include family if we want to, but yeah, who would you sit with? And what would you want to talk about?
Can I answer this one first, please?
Yes.
Plato.
Who?
Oh my goodness.
I would love to sit with Plato and say, where the hell did you get that crap from about Atlantis?
I thought you said
that. Oh.
On a serious note, I would, because so much knowledge apparently from this man. I would love to sit and just listen to his theories.
Okay. I actually thought you said potato.
Mr. Potato Head.
How does it feel knowing Woody from Toy Story? Yeah, that conversation's going to go on.
How's Buzz? What's he doing now?
Yeah. What's he doing with your nose? And does it smell funny in here?
What about you, Kirsty? Who would you sit with?
I'm stuck. I'd be drawn between two. Freddie Mercury.
Oh God, yes.
And John Lennon.
Oh.
I could not decide between the pair of them. In fact, I'd want them both, and I'd just have a damn good party.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what? It's weird, isn't it? Because I think I would sit with. I've always fancied talking to Doris Stokes.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of people I'd love to talk to, like you just said, and you just made me think, oh yeah, I'd love to talk to Freddie. He was just he's so interesting, isn't he? But yeah, I've always had this thing that I'd really love to talk to Doris Stokes. I've not read her books, nothing. I've seen her. No.
Have you thought about tuning in, see if you can get hold of her?
She's come to me.
Has she?
Yes, she has. She's come to me.
Right, I'm going to come to you for a reading then, and then you can bring to Doris Stokes and I can have a chat with her for an hour.
Teach her, Polly, to go into trance. There you go. See if she comes through.
Yeah. Well, it's worth an ask. She might want to.
Yeah. Well, I think her and Helen Duncan.
Helen Duncan. Oh, yeah.
That would be interesting. And if anybody doesn't know who Helen Duncan or Doris Stokes are, look them up because they're very interesting people. Helen Duncan actually passed away in the end. She was a very, very famous now trance medium. Yeah.
She got arrested, didn't she? She got arrested because her evidence was that good, and it was I believe a sailor materialised and told them information that about a ship that had gone down that hadn't been sort of advertised or come out yet, and she got arrested for spying.
Yeah,
her evidence was that good. So
yeah, I mean, obviously she wasn't spying because she was just doing what she was doing.
Materialised, didn't it?
Very interesting story around her. Hi, Janine. How about you, Rachel? Who would you like to sit with and have a chat to?
Too many people. First off, I would like to talk to Aristotle.
Oh.
I would like to talk to Aristotle. I got a few questions for him because I actually follow Aristotelian palmistry. He was a palm reader. So from him. And there's a huge story, a legend about him going into a temple of Hermes, which is Mercury, and finding tablets, etc., and schematics of palms and what the layout of the hand stood for. And that was later presented to Alexander the Great later on. And then Alexander the Great said, okay, I want all of my soldiers' palms read to figure out what their energy would be when faced with, adversity, what their best role would be. So Alexander the Great actually used palmistry based on what he knew from Aristotle's experience with it. So I would love to talk to Aristotle.
Wow.
And then on the flip side of things, I would actually like to talk to Mark Bolan. I know that's really weird, but Mark, this is, I only dip my toe in mediumship. This is a conversation that I need to have with more mediums, but I shy away from it because of a couple experiences that I had, and actually somebody is here in the audience, I call it the audience, I don't know, watching tonight. I had a mediumship experience with last night, and I just did it. I allowed it to happen. But Mark Bolan came to me out of the blue while I just had all of these things to tell me, and was telling me how to pay attention to the little things, and it was like guiding me for maybe a couple months. I would just like trance in and connect with Mark Bolan. I was like, what? Why? And it hasn't happened since, but I would like to reconnect and sit down and say, like, what the?
I'm sorry, I only laughed because I just saw what naughty Stacey put on the screen. I'm keeping an eye on these little messages. I am all the way through. That's really interesting. Rachel. I've seen a few different comments on there which have made me laugh. Well, somebody wrote Homer, but I don't know if they wanted to meet Homer Simpson.
One what got me, is what Gary mentioned, was about Caroline Flack.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now, doesn't that just show you how cruel the media can be? How much power they have over people's lives? All because someone just thought, this would be a bit of fun, let's ruin someone's career. Because that's what they do. And I think this is where we got to be responsible for what we say and what we do in our lives. What goes around comes around. Expression is what the expression is, isn't it?
Yeah,
karma
absolutely.
is what they say.
Is it all right if I say one expletive? Is it okay? It's not really.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. But my go-to for people is that karma is only a bitch if you are.
How dare you on my channel?
I was waiting for a big one.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say something like
Yeah, bitch, if you
prick. That was the least defensive thing I could think of.
We've had worse than that. I think if Bex was on it, it'd probably be even worse than that.
I know. I've been trying to be good, but I remember once, I've probably said it on here before, that when I don't usually swear in readings, it's not usually my thing, but if it comes in, sometimes they take you by surprise. Now, if they're up there and they're a big swearer, or they say specific words, for example, it just might accidentally pop out. And I had one the other day that just wouldn't stop. So I said, he just keeps saying the F word, like this. And she's just saying, just say it how they say it. And I was like, yeah, all right then. It's only me and them. So I was just like, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, one day this lady came for a reading, obviously in normal times, and she came into my spiritual shed at the end of the garden, and it was all going really well. And the mother came through for this lady, and I could feel my mouth talking, and I had no control. And it was almost like I was the mum for a moment there, and I just said, "Yeah, I really do. I'm glad you've dumped that. I'm glad you've dumped the idiot now." And obviously, I didn't know anything about this woman, and I said, "Glad you dumped the idiot now." And she looked at me and I said, "Yeah, he's a right cock." And she burst out laughing, absolutely hysterical. And she went, that's what my mum used to call him when she was alive. And obviously she'd been with him at the time. She said, oh, you should just dump that cock, she said. And it just came out. And I was like, oh, I'm really unprofessional. And then she just said, no, she said, no, don't worry about it. She said, that's what she would have called him. That's what she did call him. And I'm saying, oh, that's not the usual word I would have come out with if I was going to come out with a word, you know. Really funny.
Here's a question for three of you then.
Go on then.
When all three of you are readers, what has been the most embarrassing time you've done a reading, or the most embarrassing thing you've said during a reading?
Embarrassing thing we've said. Oh gosh,
Yeah.
right. I've probably got loads.
Just the one.
But now I'm trying to think of them. I can't think of any. Right.
How about the people at home as well? Like, I know Rose is watching. Hi, Rose. I'm still waiting actually for the comeback from Rose. I thought I was going to get it on Sunday, but I think she's going to bide her time for what I said to her. So I'm waiting for the slap.
Most embarrassing thing.
I have a most embarrassing thing, not necessarily in reading.
No, go on, yeah. But anybody at home, if you've got a funny story for the readers, that is the mediums, please do tell us so we can share it. Sorry, ladies, yeah.
Many years ago, I used to be a biker girl. I liked all the sort of leathers and all that stuff and riding bikes and that. And I went with my friend to a bike show, and he used to sell naughty things. And should we say that they used to be called Mrs. Summers at some point? Those type of things. Now, you know, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And he had naughty knickers all alike, and you know, all sorts of sticky up bits. Anyway, we pulled in with this van. It was a really windy day. He pulled in with this van, and we see all these big metal, you know, proper heavy metal, what they're called, stalls. That's it. These big metal stalls. Now, what he'd got is he got one of these little flimsy things, right? And it was like a plastic gazebo you stuck in your garden. Do you know what I mean? Mm. So we're setting this up, and I didn't know, but at that point we were completely being watched. Bear in mind, it was quite a windy day, so we're staking it out, we put the table up, we're putting all the bits, and you know, I'm under the table sorting all these knickers and stuff out and all sorts of flavoured things. Anyway, so I'm putting them all in, putting them all up. Then all I know is this massive gust of wind flipped the whole gazebo on its end, banged onto the roof of his van. He was inside the van at the time. It banged on the roof of this van, right? So I legged it right into the middle of the field, and I stood there absolutely creasing up, wetting myself laughing, because he's come out going, what was that noise? What was that noise? Turned round, and this flaming gazebo's on the top of his van, and it had a dike running around the back of a little stream sort of thing, running around the back of where the van was parked. And I'm not kidding you, there was all kinds of leather bits and bobs floating up and down that, going down there. And in the wind, it just had a field day. And of course, you can imagine, you know, some of these blokes, and you know, they're quite big boys, you know, and I had and then the tip, then it came flopping back down again. Excuse the pun.
Oh yeah.
And then it kind of legs broke, and and then it was still making a little bit of a tent. Well, there was a rude man who was making a tent all of his own, the little plastic men. So that was kind of, we was having a little look and having a laugh there. And then this
sounds like a carry-on film.
Massive, oh God, it was, I'm going red thinking about it. And this massive bloke, I'm telling you, he's like a man mouse. He was a man house, I tell you. He came up to me and went, "Oi, I believe this is yours." And he handed me a big plastic blow-up sheep. Well, mine. And what I would like to know is, where did all those little leather bits that I have got no idea where they go, and all the rest of it floated off down the river? Who ended up with them, I wonder? And what on earth did they make of them?
Just imagine some poor kid with their fishing net. What's this, mummy? It's a rabbit.
I remember going into an adult shop in Switzerland with a friend of mine, and she wanted to get an adult toy. And we walked in, and she was looking at it, and she said, well, that's a nice big size, I'll have that one. And the assistant behind the counter said, sorry, love, but that's a fire extinguisher.
Oh.
So I heard that joke somewhere else. I had to say it.
I was thinking this sounds not like you at all.
But the comment I just want to bring up very quickly is what Heidi said about the most embarrassing reading for me was being ousted by my medium on a live stream of my mum telling everyone that I gave her a joint.
Who was that? I've got a horrible feeling I might have said that. Oh, I've told you what I did do. Let us know who told you that, Heidi. I actually have ruined, I tell you what, it's not necessarily embarrassing, but it sort of was a bit orcs, if you know what I mean, because I've actually told somebody, I've announced their pregnancy in front of like 100 people, and they hadn't told anyone. And obviously the family were there. And I said, no, you sure you're not pregnant? I'm sure I could see it now. I said, if it's not now, it's very soon. And you could see it, like, obviously I'm so blind, right? I'm so short-sighted that I just didn't see her facial expression. So I carried on. And I ruined somebody's 40th birthday party that they didn't know they were going to have.
Oh, dear.
And the guy sitting next to her was going...
Was you, Polly?
Oh, yeah, I thought it might have been me, Heidi. I just thought that sounds ever so familiar. Obviously, that was one of my embarrassing ones. I didn't mean to. It was one of those things. It's really hard. If you see in a reading, or you're doing a reading, especially a demonstration, if you know, and you're getting this information, and then, you know... It's hard. It comes in and out, doesn't it?
I was particularly wicked to a young boy once. I remember him. I bet he's never gone to a mediumship demonstration ever again. His grandmother came through and told him to pick his undercrackers up off the floor.
As long as they weren't the socks from down the side of his bed.
There's a video that went viral of a young lady doing a video to her parents, her elderly parents, saying, I love you very much and hope you're really well. And she sent it to her dad. And when she turned around, she realised she had all her sex toys on her bed behind her.
Oh, God.
It's
Here on the CBS News, which is like, you know, the news channel, CBS, right? There was somebody who was doing an interview, and they had a bookcase way far off in the distance of the room behind them, all the books lined up perfectly, all these little tchotchkes, right? And there was a, we'll say a toy, okay, promptly in display on shelf. And they went ahead because it was live. And it's everybody talks about it now. It's like, why? How can you forget that was on display? I mean, it was.
Why did you put it there? Unless somebody did it as a wind up, you know?
Yeah, definitely had to be, didn't it?
Did you see on the news? I'm sure you all did. That guy that was in that meeting that couldn't get that cat filter off his face. Did you see it?
I heard about it. I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it.
Oh no, you've got to Google it.
I'm not a cat. He said, I'm real. I'm not a cat.
Yeah, he goes, I don't know how to get rid of this filter, he's saying, bless him. And he was like a little pussycat, like talking in. If you haven't seen it, Google it, because it is just so funny.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I have seen it.
It was actually for court. He was a lawyer.
Natalie was saying, has said, my most embarrassing reading was being told to stop walking around the flat with no top on and sort my pile of washing out.
Oh, awkward.
Was that in front of everybody, Natalie, or was this like a one-to-one reading? Obviously, if it's one-to-one, it's still awkward, isn't it? It depends if you know the medium very well, though, doesn't it? Really. Oh, I tell you what was funny. I did this. I think I've told you guys before, but for anyone that doesn't know, I was doing a demonstration of mediumship in Southampton, and it was the first night I'd gone down there? Yeah, it's like somebody had approached me and said, a really good friend of mine now actually, and she runs a group in Southampton. So I went and did this demo, and there was probably, I don't know, about 30, 40 people there, something like that. And I kept getting this budgie, right? And I couldn't get away from it. It's like I wasn't getting grandma or granddad or anything. I was getting a budgie. And I said, I've got this budgie. And they're all looking at me like, oh, God, you know. And so, yeah, I've got this budgie. And anyway, there's a blue budgie and a green budgie. And they're like called Bluey and Greenie. And they're all looking at me like, are you for real? And I said, but they both came to a bit of an unfortunate end. And so they're sort of looking at me, and I said, no, especially Bluey, it came to a really unfortunate end. I said, there's something really bad about its passing. And I said, your mother's coming through here, and she feels responsible, okay? I said, but at the end, she couldn't walk very well. She was in a wheelchair, and I was explaining what she looked like and everything else. And I kept going on about it. I said, she keeps feeling really, really guilty about the budgie, and the budgie's here. And the budgie's saying, it's all right now. It's all right now. It can, it can fly again and everything. Anyway, it turns out this woman I didn't know if she was laughing or crying, but she put her hand up and she said, that's for me. She said, that's my mother. She killed her budgie. Right. And it turns out what she'd done. And obviously the story came out in front of all of the people. And she'd let Bluey out of the cage, and it'd gone flying around the room, but she didn't realise it had landed where she had her sofa. There's the sofas, and then sort of like slightly adjacent was the living room chair, and the budgie had flown down into that gap. Anyway, she'd got her Henry Hoover, and she was hoovering, and she put the hoover down that area to hoover up the crumbs or whatever was down there. No. She sucked Bluey up the hoover. And obviously before she realised it went whoop, like that, and so she turned Henry off. Bluey was unfortunately dead, and obviously she'd never forgiven herself. But anyway, Bluey was fine up there, could fly again. And but then I said, but the green one, Greenie, I said, that's also come to an unfortunate end. It's almost like it just flew into a wall. And she said, it did. It got out and it just flew into a wall and then broke its neck and died. And I was like, okay then. It was like awkward silence there for a moment. I mean, the thing is, I'm the sort of person that will say it. If it's in my head and they're telling it to me, I'm going to say it. That's why I'm not ideal in a SNU church, because I can't keep my mouth shut. But I do them, and I'm very restrained when I do them. But and I don't bring through budgies and things like that when I do a church one. But yeah, no, it just came out. But the poor woman up there had felt so guilty, but she was with her budgie, so it was all okay, and the budgie was all right. Bless them. So that was a pretty weird story, but not many people do that.
Stacey's got. Did you see that one, Richard?
No,
Stacey had an embarrassing one. Richard telling me it was time she tidied up the back garden because one of his fake readings, where it was embarrassingly true. See, we were saying this earlier on, weren't we,
But what
Rachel?
got me was the comment that Heidi said afterwards.
Oh God!
I can't. Don't repeat it on air, but Heidi, you're very naughty.
Heidi
Spicer.
She's definitely very spicy to like. Oh dear!
Oh, there's someone at my door. Hang on.
Oh, good. You find out who it belongs to.
Go on then.
Oh, come on then.
Oh dear.
That was the cat. That's all right. See?
What, your cat knocked on the door to come in?
The dog was knocking.
Oh, the dog knocked.
Just imagine on two paws banging on the door. Let me in, Mum, will you? What's going on here then?
He could just say hello, because otherwise he gets stroppy. There he is.
Oh,
That's Tino, who we don't let lick my face.
No.
He's a no. Good boy. Get down then. There we go. He'll go and sit on the bed now, I think.
Just very quickly, everybody, before we carry on, I hope you've been enjoying the show so far. It's just relaxing and having a giggle and having some fun stories, but we're going to now tell you what's happening tomorrow. We have a demonstration of mediumship at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, so join us for them. And tomorrow morning we have the Divine Service with Wimbledon Spiritualist Church, and that's at 11 o'clock. And then tomorrow evening we have our VIP nights. Yes, I need to change that graphic. I still haven't updated it. It says free mediumship readings on both week 1 and 2. When week 1, I think, is the mediumship development, and week 2 is the fledglings evening. But that's on Zoom. If you are a VIP member, patron, etc., then you can come along and join us on Zoom for free. And it's Marcus and Veronica who hosts that for your development, and Veronica hosts the fledglings evening. So come along if you want to. It's a bit of fun and learn a lot. Also, what's coming up? I'm hoping to be finished by the 1st of March. It is the brand new Spiritual Psychics TV website, where there's going to be a brand new event section where people can go along and actually pay for events. So, for example, if these 3 young ladies were doing a workshop and they're asking for your kind money to help pay for that, then they can go on and start advertising, and you can pay via there straight away, sort of thing. You don't have to go to Eventbrite or any other company that offers those type of services. It's come to us. It's a way of building the portfolio of SPTV and helping the mediums and hosts to get some money their way, for you to spend money as well. That's what it's all about. Keeping the economy going.
Yeah.
Say. Right. So that's it. That is it. That's what's going on SPTV for the next couple of days. Some more new shows coming along, but they will be announced next month. Because if I told you everything at the moment, it'd be rather boring, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we need to be held in suspense a little bit.
Well, if you can't remember, if there's a show on, all you got to remember is on 8 o'clock every single night on SPTV, there is something going on. That's all you got to remember.
There's always something going on SPTV.
Always look on the bright side.
More than meets the eye.
Yeah. Yes, we have mediumship tomorrow evening at 8 p.m, as I mentioned.
Do you know who it is?
Not yet, because the person who was booked in sadly had to cancel because there was a passing. Oh. So our love and thoughts to them and that family. Oh. But I'm pretty sure Veronica's on the case, and I will probably find out tomorrow or tonight. I know she's on, so she might. No, I didn't. I did say, Terry, I did say that it was on Saturday night. I even put the graphic up. I did put the graphic up, didn't I? In my defence, I put the graphic. Anyway, so what's your plans for tomorrow then, ladies? Anything interesting?
I've got my grandson tomorrow, because I'm lucky enough to be in their little work bubble. So, yeah, I feel very honoured to have my little baby. He'll keep us occupied, keep me off the street.
Well, this is my birthday weekend. So
is it?
Ooh, happy birthday.
Thank you. So my family is, I don't know what's going on. There are mumblings and rumblings of certain events and things. And we don't, the situation, we're going to steer clear of certain subjects. But here, it's a little, we have more things to do. Let's just say it that way, okay? Like we can socialize a little bit more. So I'm thinking I might actually spend some time tomorrow at a local museum to see a Van Gogh that I bonded with, because it showed up here in an American museum the same day that I moved back here from New York City, and my area in the Met were the Van Gogh and the Monet rooms. And I was like, oh, this is too weird. So I might go and spend some time with the Van Gogh and spend some time with my family, dinner, things like that. And then someday, I don't know. I'll be 49. Ooh.
Me baby.
I was 49 until October last year.
I was 49 2 years ago.
Were you? I know. Get us. What about you? What about you, Richard? When were you 49?
I am not
Do
49.
you remember? Do you remember?
Yeah. But back when you were a kid.
It's like so cool. You really are. So
It's
I
like
look,
a hostess advert, isn't it?
Pisces. That's right, Kelly. Team Pisces. My birthday is Sunday, Marcus. I saw you ask. It's Sunday, the 21st.
Ah,
happy birthday, Kelly, for tomorrow.
yeah.
Yeah, exciting time. So what star sign are you, Kirsty?
Oh, okay. Have a guess. I talk lots. Have a guess.
I'm not very good at actually star
I'm saying
signs. I know
Taurus.
mine.
I don't know. I'm just saying Taurus.
No, I'm a Gemini. Got to
A
be
Gemini. My mum,
Gemini.
God rest her soul, was a
I
Gemini.
have no idea.
Yeah, we like to talk, us Geminis.
Yeah, my mum liked to
Hi,
talk.
Pamela.
I've never met a Gemini that liked to talk. I'm serious. I've never met a Gemini that liked to talk.
You have now.
I think you're a
I bet
very...
it's your rising sign or your moon sign that has a lot of...
Actually, I've got, I think my rising sign Scorpio, but all the rest are Geminis. So,
funny 'cause
yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think obviously I've just told you. Well, I've just told you what month I was born in, but that actually could mean two different star signs. What am I?
You there? I didn't understand the word you just said then.
Yeah, I said what month I was born in, but that I said that a minute ago, but you've got to guess what star.
Scorpio.
What month was you born in?
I'm not telling you now.
I can't remember either. I think, did you say October?
Yeah, I think Richard just said it actually.
Did I? Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Cool. I had no idea.
Ah.
I'm a
I'm not
Scorpion. And I've got
Ah.
Scorpio in everything. I'm very
Yeah.
Scorpio-y.
Well, I got
Rosa's
Scorpio
saying
my
Gemini.
rising.
Sagittarius, Terry said.
I've got
Hey, go for Julie. Go for it, Julie.
Pamela, I am not going to answer that. The way this conversation has been going this evening, I am not going to go down that road.
Oh.
what?
Sags together. Well, there's a
Saggies,
conversation.
I think.
Sags, isn't that an Indian potato dish? Sagaloo.
We wasn't thinking of that. We was thinking, what's saggy?
Oh, saggy. Yeah.
Don't say that.
It's off again. I wonder what you're thinking.
God knows. Mary's a Scorpio November. I was actually born the day before Halloween, so I was nearly a witch.
What do you mean nearly a witch?
Me nearly.
I do spells, right?
You do? Well, do,
yeah.
or does do?
No, I do spells, but they're only good spells. I'm only good to a good spell, and it's always for the power of good. And I actually sold my flat that I lived in Hayling Island, and I made a spell and got two people fighting over it and got full price. I was
Apparently, I'm a witch, according to Rachel. Well, what Rachel said with my palms, and I'm a witch or something. You said, wasn't it?
Really?
I like to call it a wisdom, but Richard's wanting to call it a witch mark. Some people call it a witch mark. He has it on his hand. But I like to call it a wisdom mark because here in the U.S., you will get Deuteronomy and every Bible thrown at you if you decide to come out as any type of spiritualist. Like Richard and I had a conversation. I found it absolutely amazing that spiritualism is actually, I'll say it, lack of a better word, legitimized, and so out in the open in the UK, whereas here in the US, it's like, you know.
Really? I thought it was quite popular there. Is it not?
Yeah.
No, certain areas, no. It's like they will.
It's illegal in some places too.
Torches, and you know they'll just come at you.
Isn't it illegal to prophesize in some parts of America?
Yes, it's state to state. So, yeah. And
wow.
It's really, really wild. And in the area that I live in, you maybe heard me go on about it. It's very old for the U.S. It's a very old little town, and small town, small minds. But I do love this town because the attitude here is they just don't care. Meaning, like, they'll care for each other, whether or not you have differing opinions or anything like that. They take care of their own. Even me, even though they don't, they're like, oh, you know, like, she's the one that lives in the pink building. I live in a pink building. But anyway.
Pink building?
Wow.
I didn't do it. But it's
who is that? I can't think of his name. That really, I think he's quite an attractive guy. That American, very, very well-known medium. Oh, and he's on the telly. No, because
he talks really fast.
Really short hair.
Yeah, he has got a bit of a smile on him. Yeah, what's his name?
Richard knows his name because that's the only way I can remember this guy is by his teeth.
What's his name?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Right, help us out, guys at home. There's I think he's really attractive. There's American medium, and he's been on the telly a lot. And I was going to go and see him.
Crossing
over.
God, it's crossing. No, was it
John Edwards?
Yeah, well done.
He's not popular.
Well done, Alison.
Anymore.
Is he not?
Mm-mm.
He's not popular anymore.
Not here in the US anymore, no.
Oh, my heart is sank.
He doesn't actually he does more things online than he does on TV. And here we have somebody called the Long Island Medium.
Oh, I've seen that, yeah.
And then we have the guy with all the teeth, and I can't remember his name. But he posts on Facebook, he posts everywhere, and he actually got picked up on TV as well. So mediumship is more allowable than any kind of astrology, palmistry, psychic, any clair kind of thing.
Oh,
you know.
So mediumship is more acceptable.
Yeah.
Yes, because honest with you, because I have people come to me not understanding the difference between psychic and medium. That there is a difference between psychic and mediumship.
There's a huge difference.
And if I have to explain, you know, hey, look, I'm not comfortable yet with my mediumship. And it's true. I admit it, I am not comfortable with it. Very well. And so very well meaning that they expect to be able to talk to a particular person. They want certain things said, and it's like that's not really how it works. But that's here in the US.
If it's any consolation, Rachel, I've had many people want to do the very same thing. Can you bring through my grandmother, who used to say this to me all the time? I used to think, do you want to have a go, mate? Sorry.
Oh, do you know that I'm actually quite good at, if somebody wants me to bring somebody through, I will do a fast track and try and bring them through. It very rarely doesn't work. But
yeah, me too.
But the only thing is when they say, when they say to me, it's like, and then instantly your head comes into it. So please don't really ever ask me this. If a bit of information is supposed to come through, it will come through. If somebody says, well, what did they call me when I was 5?
Yeah.
Like,
Words.
Yeah.
It's really then if you give me
It could be like cheese on toast or anything, couldn't it? You know, in the world. But it's just like one of those things where as soon as somebody puts that into your head, then you start thinking about it. Like the medium. So everyone at home, if you ever want to go to a medium and ask for a code word, very, very likely, if they do get your code word, it's because they are using a very high psychic ability and nothing to do with mediumship. Because when they want to talk, they don't care about your code word anymore. It doesn't matter often. You know, what matters is that they've gone up there. Sometimes they do say it. And I've said loads of readings, they said, oh, that was the word that I wanted them to say. And the other week it was mince pies. And this was the code word. And I kept saying, she keeps showing me mince pies. She keeps showing me mince pies. And so then he said, that was my code word. And I'm thinking, well, brilliant. It was supposed to come out. But the moment people like puts like a massive thing like that on a medium, it takes you out. It takes you out of the link. Don't you see, guys? You know, it really does.
Yeah, I totally agree. At the end of the day, spirit. Yes, it is important that they prove. You know, that it's all about evidence, isn't it? It's proof of life. And if you prove that you have got their loved ones in whatever way that means, that quite frankly should be enough. If you start as sitter, if you come forward and start saying, I want this, this and this, you're actually going to block a really good reading.
Yeah.
You're going to make it harder. So just go in there with an open mind and talk to spirit up there, not that way to the medium, and then you might get what you want.
Yeah. I mean, like you know, you said there's many ways they can come out with something. But when they've, you know, I've done readings before and I've said that somebody passed of pneumonia. So I don't always get names, often do, sometimes don't. I've said like the name, how they passed away, and certain aspects and a particular very important message, but because they didn't say cheese on toast, they didn't say that. And I don't know if you guys watched that thing on Netflix, and it's all about different sorts of mediumship. Did you watch that?
Yes, I can't think what it's called. That everyone was on about it, weren't they?
Oh, it was
come on, guys!
brilliant.
What's that program? It's all over
Surviving
Facebook.
Death. So that was
Surviving Death.
Surviving Death.
I'll watch it.
It's really good, Rachel. You really should.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. It really makes you think. And then there's this guy on there, isn't there? This guy that's going from medium to medium to medium to medium. And a couple of them said the code things or what he'd been thinking prior to going for these readings. Like, I'll only believe it's my dad if he talks about my hair. Or I only believe it's my dad if he talks about my car, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, you're putting an awful lot of pressure on and missing a whole lot of really good reading there.
Yeah.
Because you're focused on that.
Yeah, I saw the one that did the trance, the lady that went through the trance. She was beautiful, just wonderful evidence. They were absolutely buzzing about her, but then they went to bed and woke up and they did nothing but slate it. And I thought, that's really sad.
Yeah, it was him. He said, "Oh, was that on the internet?" And they said yes. And we don't know if she knew who was coming or she could have googled it because it didn't say.
Do you know what? I don't know about you, Polly, but I couldn't be bothered to read it. I couldn't be bothered to do all that research in the first place. And by the time I do all that, I probably forget anyway.
Oh God, I've got a mind like a sieve. I'm like I say, I can't even remember that. I keep saying to you, "Oh, do you remember this?" And I can't even remember their name. I can't even remember what the film is. I can't remember that.
When Polly calls me, she's calling me different names.
Yeah, well,
admittedly, it's usually rude names. But
I think Rachel can relate to that, can't you? Galbreath.
And with that in mind, I'm going to close this evening, I'm afraid. I want to say thank you to my guests, Rachel, Kirsty, and to Polly. Thank you very much for coming on tonight. Thank you, everybody at home, for joining me in my very first show. And I hope when we're on in a fortnight's time that we'll have some more guests coming on with us on the, I nearly said on the sofa then, Polly, That's your line.
Yeah,
on the
the
sofa.
sofa's on a Sunday.
Yeah, mine's on the table.
Not comfortable.
Richard
I'm
on
never
the
going to
table.
live that down. Really not.
The cold shower.
Anyway.
He needs it.
Thank you ever so much, you three. Thanks for coming on and joining me tonight.
Thank you for having
enjoyed
us.
the laughs and
Thank you.
the stories and so forth. Thank you, everybody at home. I am saying, Alison is saying, fantastic show. Thanks very much. Very funny and glad you enjoyed it. Thank you. Had a great night from Gary. Veronica saying, lovely. Veronica, who's on tomorrow? Can you quickly tell me if you found some poor soul who's got to deal with all the viewers? I mean, any nice medium. Heidi saying, thanks, guys. Much needed escape. And that's what it was about, is to escape in the, as we call, normality now. And just having that bit of a giggle, having the conversations that you would have, letting your hair down, as the expression go with the flow for an evening. And as conversations do, you go down a few rabbit holes. A bit like when you watch YouTube, you start off watching Elvis gospel song, you end up watching cats kissing each other. You think, how do I get here?
Or is that just you, Richard?
Yeah,
it's like,
let's not talk about his private life.
No, I was watching this. Oh, right, it could be. It's either Bev or Marcus, just waiting to hear back. Okay. See you tomorrow then, Marcus. He's our saviour, really, at the end of the day. I was watching this song from Elvis called "Help Me." It's gospel, and it's so powerful for what he's saying. And then I was watching it, and then it just jumped to some cat kissing to another cat, and I thought, how did I get here? I was just watching a gospel song, and now I'm watching cats. Doesn't make sense.
Well, perhaps the universe felt you needed to see a bit of love.
I must admit, it was funny, because the expression on the cat after it kissed, I suppose, it's like when they smell some bad smell and its tongue goes, yeah. So it was quite funny. But anyway, that's enough of that. Thank you very much again, everybody. Thank you. See you all tomorrow at 8 o'clock for our mediumship evening, and then 11 o'clock on Sunday for the divine service. I got it right this time.
Well,
right, how can people? Thank you. How can people contact you? By the way, guys.
If you go on to my profile, Polly, I will add you to the mediumship club, because I don't know the link. So find me, Polly Harnett, and I'll add you to the groups, whichever group you desire to join, because I've got two, and I've got the mediumship and tarot, or I have animal healing and communication, or you can join both.
And I am found, like, I'm scattered everywhere. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I have my own webpage, but everything, the tag is the little @ and then Rachel G. Palmistry. Nice and sing-songy. You can find me anywhere. And my website is elementalintentions.com. And there's also a contact on there if you have any questions.
Oh, I've just remembered my Instagram one. On a clever. It's PH_ the light within. PH_ the light within is my business Instagram. So I was very clever, because my daughter actually set that up for me, because I'm so useless.
So you're not clever then. You just said you were clever, but so your daughter's clever.
I'm clever in remembering the actual link to that, because I would have not.
You had your daughter, so you are clever.
Yeah, my daughter's like my little PA. 21.
Well, I have a very clever husband, and you can get hold of us at MK Clairvoyance, for Matka for Kirsty Clairvoyance, or Kirsty Psychic Medium on Facebook. So pop and see us. Say hello.
And Tuesday mornings, you do your own coffee show on Zoom.
Oh yes, please come on, see us. Pop on if you've got nothing else better to do. Find me on Facebook, but send me a message and tell me why you found me, because I do tend to, if you look a bit dodgy, I'm not going to accept you. I'm warning you now. But and then we'll add actually. No, I'm only joking. We'll add you to a coffee morning every Tuesday morning from 10:30 to midday. So we have a coffee morning, a chat for those that got nothing better to do or that just want to have a chat like we're doing now.
Excellent stuff.
Excellent. So who does that? Excellent.
I don't know, but
anyway.
it sounds creepy.
No, Bill and Ted. Excellent.
Bill and Ted did that, yeah. Excellent. Right, thank
Audacious.
you. I'm going now. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.